Hi, in this bonus video we will be configuring the Centrify IBM DB2 SSO module for GSSAPI authentication. In previous video we actually set up the user password and group membership plugins for that module. And this is all nice and good if you have a system that is running PAM, or if you don't mind that your users type in their Active Directory password when accessing DB2. However, if you're running an AIX system that is configured to use LAM instead of PAM, and that's loadable authentication modules instead of pluggable authentication modules, then the only option that you have is to use SSO and GSSAPI. In addition, if you're using PAM, implementing the GSSAPI will allow you to delight your users. In order for you to do this, you need is it like a two man operation. You need an Active Directory account, and you need in addition you need also a key tab. So the Active Directory account, I'm going to use the most common scenario. You could actually use the setup db2.sh command to do this, but most likely the Unix administrator requests a service account from the AD group, and they're going to work together to adopt the key tab. And some of you have seen some videos and they know about AD key tab. So the first thing that we need to have is an AD account. Naming conventions are important here. So understanding here, in my particular case, my instance name is db2inst1, the default one. So it will be db2inst1. And you need to also keep in mind that you need to be able to know what this account is for or what server is for. So in my particular case, I'm going to also type in the name of the server, because a server may run different instances. So in here I have this account that will be the account that I'm going to use, and I'm going to set it up so the password doesn't expire and the user is unable to change the password. At this point, it raises issue number one, and is that I know, as the AD administrator, I know the password for the account. This can be mitigated because once the user account is adopted by the Centrify agent, the password is randomized, so nobody actually knows the password at that point. So that mitigates that issue. So let's just say now I'm the Unix administrator. I've been told by the AD person that the account is ready. All I need to do is ask for the can you tell me the name of the account, and the AD person will say, hey, yeah, sure, it's db2inst1 dash the name of the server. So one thing that we want to do is we want to verify. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look, and I'm going to do an AD query user -a, and then I'm going to type in the name of the user. So what I'm looking for in here is to know the SAM account name, the CN or canonical name, but I'm interested in looking at the service principal name, and if there is any, actually the user principal name, and if there's any service principal names. Notice that there's no service principal names, and this particular case, the user principal name is not in Kerberos friendly format, MIT Kerberos. We want to make sure that that suffix is in caps, all caps. So we've identified two issues. The account doesn't have a service principal name. It doesn't have the UPN in the right format. That's where adkeytab comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to issue the adkeytab command. And the way I'm going to issue it, I'm going to do it with dz-do, and I'm going to paste it. And here basically what it does, it means adkeytab adopt the key tab. That means take over the account, add a service principal name, in this case instance, / the name of the server at the Kerberos realm, update the UPN now with a more MIT friendly code. The other one is use this AD account. So you may have to work with the AD account, the AD administrator, to use his account to do that. Otherwise, he would have to give you full control to the user account so you can run it with your own credentials. The other output here is use a verbose output and use this key tab. And because before I did this, I actually, and you know, let me just go ahead and show you this. So finally, the DN of the account, the distinguished name is used. But one thing that I'm going to do, and that's because I've already created a key tab with the same name, I'm going to use the force. This is, by the way, I have to do this before to make sure it works. So I'm going to use the force one. So it's going to ask me for my AD password because I'm elevating with DZ2. And notice in here it's asking me for the credentials of the user in Active Directory. And in here, notice that the key tab has been successfully adopted, as you can see. But now we have to go and verify that the key tab is created and that the account has the proper attributes. So I'm going to go ahead and clear. And now if I take a look at the account, notice a few things. So there's a service principal name, and the UPN has the proper syntax on it. Also, I want to make sure that the account has been created the right way. So I'm using the instance users home directory for this. So the DB2 inst1.keytab. So there's that key tab right there. So now notice that it's owned by root. I need to make sure that this is actually owned by the account, that the user account for the instance. So in this case, what I need to do is do a chown. So another thing is I want to know the group. So cat etc group. So this is the actual group. So we want to make sure that we do DZ2, and it will be a chown for DB2 inst1, and then the group for the instance, and it will be for home DB2 inst1 DB2 inst1 dash. That's it. So we changed the ownership of the file now. So the file is owned by the proper principal. Now all we need to do is run the setup db2.sh and reconfigure it again. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a DZ2. It will be user share Centrify DC, in this case bin, and it will be set up db2.sh, and the parameter is instance db2 inst1. So it's asking me, okay, this is a DB2 instance, yes, and it's 10.5, so I'm going to say yes. And in here, I'm going to use both this username and password and single sign-on because I'm interested in keeping both. If you were using LAM, you would only use option number 2. So I'm going to do 1. I'm going to use the group plugin, and in here, I need to select that I'm going to provide a key tab that already exists. So I'm going to go ahead and select number 2. And this is the key tab. It's already cached in here because I've already tested this before we actually recorded the video. And in here it's going to say, hey, what group should own that file? I'm going to say the default. And this is what's going to happen once I press yes. So the new configuration for DB2 inst1 is going to be this one. So I'm going to go ahead and close, say yes in here. So it's going to stop DB2, and it's going to basically reconfigure DB2 to use both a user password, in this case now GSSAPI, as well as that. So everything seems to be correct. And I'm going to go ahead and do some testing. So the easiest way for me to test is to open DB2 and then try to connect without specifying a user. So I can do a DB2 connect to sample. I have the sample database. So in this here, I should not have said DB2 because I already was in the DB2 Pro, so it would be connect to sample. And then here you will notice that I didn't have to put in a username. If I were to log in with a different user, let's just say I wanted to come in as Fred Thomas. So just to make sure, one thing that I want to do is, and I think that his password has expired, so I'm going to go ahead and set up a different password. Okay, so this user has access denied. But anyway, so what we want to make sure is that, you know, end users are able to elevate without having to put in the password, and that basically means success. I'm gonna go ahead and do a AD query user, and maybe log in as myself here. So let's do a engineering 8 non-SSO. So there you go. This is the first time I'm logging in, and you know, if I do a DB2 connect to sample, in this case, let's take a look at certain things. So if I take a look at